Alright YouTube, how's it going? Here I got another video of my Ofna buggies. However, this video is a little bit different. You notice I have my electric LX1e. That's right, it's an LX1e, I found that out. And then over here I also have my Nitro. Aha! But is it Nitro really? Is it? Is it? Ooh, you see cables. Ah, yes. I successfully completed my Nitro to electric conversion. Now, I'm going to show you step by step, or not step by step, but I'm going to show you what I had to do. I'm also going to show you side by side comparison to my LX1e. Nitro, electric. Not much of a difference, is there? I'll tell you what I had to replace. Alright, first things first, obviously you need the motor mount, okay? Now, the motor mount, all the parts you can get are off of the LX1e. All the parts that I bought are for the LX1e. LX2e, most of the parts are identical, so except for a couple of things. So I will point out what I bought. Actually, all the parts that I ordered were for the LX2e. Let me specify that, and I'll show you what the difference is. But here I got the battery tray. Okay, when you purchase the battery tray assembly, it also brings the radio box along with the servo mount. The radio box and servo mount, it's all one assembly. Okay, so for 20 bucks with shipping, you get the battery tray assembly, which also has integrated the ESC tray, as well as the battery box, cover, and servo mount. Alright, so that takes care of the one thing. Obviously, of course, you got your motor mount. Alright, that's also off of the LX2e. What I also ordered here, you have to order the chassis brace. Whenever you remove the battery box from the Nitro, the battery box actually is part of your chassis brace assembly. So you have to order a chassis brace. Here I went with the LX2e just because I thought I had an LX2e buggy to begin with. The difference between chassis brace between the LX1 and the LX2 is in the chassis brace itself. The LX2e has this plate here with a longer plastic shaft. The LX1e actually comes with a different mount here, and then it comes with this turnbuckle type chassis brace here, alright, which is a little bit shorter. I did like better the mount, the holder here, because the one on the LX1 actually is a little bit higher, and it seemed like it was farther over the differential case, and so it gave it more of a leverage to actually work its way out and lift these screws up, which is exactly what it was doing. I like this better, so definitely go with the LX2e chassis brace assembly. It comes with both the front and the rear, and it also comes with this plate on top of your differential case. That is it. Those are the three parts that I had to order, besides obviously your electronics, but those are the only three parts I had to order. Your battery tray, which comes with the battery radio box and servo mount, your electric motor mount, and your chassis brace. Now I'm going to turn this over and show you exactly what I ended up having to do. Now, if you compare the two side by side, you will see that they are pretty much almost identical. I'm pretty happy and I'm very satisfied with the way it came out. Everything mounted up. Of course, yes, you have to drill holes, and I'm going to show you that now. I originally was skeptical because I thought I was going to have to drill a whole bunch of holes. One of the things that I found out was the spacing on my motor mount is different than on the motor mount for the Nitro. So you are going to have to actually elongate, not elongate, but drill out some holes. The way I did here was I left the one hole there, and then I drilled out a little bit more over here. Now, as you can see, I didn't drill enough, so I'm gonna have to open this up a little bit more so that I can get me another screw down there, because you would definitely want to have two screws here to keep that nice and square. And then the motor mount comes out this way, and then you got another screw out at the end of the motor mount to give it more stability and rigidity. So you have to drill another hole there. As far as the, let me see, that's everything on this side. The motor mount is on this side. Actually, no, up here you got your radio box. All right, I did have to drill, this is the front of the car, the front of your radio box. There are two holes here that are already there. You can use those two holes for the front of your radio box, which it works out perfectly because you don't have to drill a hole. What you will have to do is on these side guards, okay, you notice these little nubs? All right, you will have to slice, and you'll have to take out two of these. All right, so for this, on this side, side where the battery tray goes, on the side of the battery tray, all right, you'll have to take out two of them. One here and one here. Hold on. Yes. On the side of the battery tray, you got to remove the two. You got to remove this one, and you got to remove the one in the front. And then on the other side, you have to just remove the one in the front, so that the battery box will get down there. But just take a knife and cut them out. But on the side of the battery box, you can utilize these same two holes. Okay, and then you're going to have to drill a hole for the rear, so that you can screw down the rear of the battery box, or the radio box. But it's being held by these three screws. It's nice and tight and firm. That servo, I try and move it, and it does not move. It's nice and rigid. So nice and strong and sturdy with just those three holes. And as far as the radio box goes, only one hole you actually have to drill. Now this drill, this hole, I didn't countersink it. I'm going to take this screw out. I've got another countersunk screw head. I'm going to go ahead and countersink that, so that way everything's nice and flush underneath here. Moving on to the other side with my battery tray. I was very, very surprised and very, very happy whenever the two large screws that are actually underneath the speed controller tray, these two screws actually lined up perfectly with the holes that were already there for the engine mount. So that worked out perfectly. So once I lined those up, got those screwed in, I went down here in the front, and I actually took a small hole here. All right, this is already a hole that was part of the chassis originally, and there is a 3mm hole on the radio tray that you can screw into. It lines up perfectly with that. Okay, though this whole radio tray is being held by the three screws also. The one here in the front, and then these two large ones in the back. But in total, I ended up having to drill out, let me see, I didn't have to drill anything out for the side of the battery tray. 1, 2, 3. Just looking over, yeah, that's it. 3 holes I had to drill out. You got to drill out the bigger hole for the motor mount, the extra one over here for the motor mount, one for the back of the rear of the battery, the radio tray, and that's a total of 3 holes that I had to drill. Seems like I had to drill another one, but I can't remember. Oh, yes. And you got to drill the one out for your chassis brace too. Now this one I did countersink it, put a screw down, it's nice and flush. But that is 4 holes total, one for the chassis brace. All right, so let's flip this back over. I'll show you here. I mean, this is nice and sturdy. There's no give whatsoever in there. All right, so when that servo is moving back and forth, I got no play, no flex in that whatsoever. So I'm pretty happy. Now you may want to replace, which I'm going to replace my spur gear to the plastic one off of the electric, because I don't like the metal on metal. It's a bit more noisy, but just I don't like metal on metal. So I'm going to get the composite gear, spur gear, just like the one that comes over on the LX1, the electric version. But there you go. That's it. I'm going to show you a little bit of running video of it. And with this motor, this is a 550 size motor. Believe it or not, the Nitro conversion is actually about a pound lighter than the than the electric. Actually, that's a lie. It's not quite a pound. It's about a half to 3/4 of a pound lighter. So it's not as heavy. It's not heavier. It's just a tad bit lighter. But either way, it works out good. I'm very happy with it, and Giovanni will be very happy with it too. But as you can see, this is the electric. This is the Nitro converted. Very little difference. I mean, they look almost identical. So it worked out very good. I'm very happy with it. This motor, like I said, it was a 550. It's a 2650 kV motor. It's a 550 size can. With a 3S battery. Now this is not the speed control I'm using. This is speed control out of my short course truck. But it's only capable up to 3S, so I couldn't run a 4S in it. These buggies have to run a 4S, or otherwise they're just too slow. But with a 3S in this, at 2650 kV, I got a 13-tooth pinion spur gear. No, 13-tooth pinion gear on it, and it did 30 miles per hour with, according to my GPS. Motor temps only got up to about 150 degrees. So I'm pretty satisfied with I'm going to be able to run this motor and get some good speed. It's actually going to be faster than this one, although I got a bigger motor in here. I got a 1/8 scale motor. This one's only a 1900 kV. I'm running a 14-tooth pinion, but this thing also runs cool, so I could probably bump this up to a 15 or a 16-tooth pinion gear. Raise the motor temperatures just a little bit, but also get me some better top speed. If I want to go top speed on the track, it's more speed than what I need anyways, so I may or may not do that. But anyways, I'm pretty excited, pretty happy. I got me 2 electric buggies now, and I will show you a little bit of a running video right now. Bye-bye.